Alright, Ben here again with another video, and this is one for the bucket list. I wanted to make this video for some time, and we're going to knock it out before any next-gen systems come so we can create a baseline for discussion. It's probably too small to see. I probably could have enlarged all of this, but if you go to the top, you can see it says retro, and then modern. So this is my definitive version here, video game generation history according to me, according to Ben. So retro gaming category 1 starts with Gen 1, the Magnavox Odyssey in 1972, and continues all the way up until Generation 7, when we switch to modern here in red, with the Wii, the Xbox 360, and the PlayStation 3. So, you've got retro versus modern as our main categories. Then, I have subdivided retro into gold here, vintage. So, vintage would include Gen 1, as we mentioned, the Magnavox Odyssey, the granddaddy of them all. Gen 2, you got the Fairchild F, the Atari VCS, or 2600 if you prefer, in 1977. The Bally Astrocade in 78, Odyssey 2, 79, and Intellivision in 1980. Now, I've just highlighted most of the major systems. If you are missing any system, or if I'm missing any system, it's because I didn't want to list them all. So if your favorite system is not on here, tell me in the comments, rip me a new one, whatever. But these are just the ones I've listed. So vintage lasts from Gen 1 to Gen 2. Then retro starts off our green category here. It's Gen 3, the Famicom or Nintendo Entertainment System, the Sega Master System, and the Atari 7800, to name a few. Gen 4, TurboGrafx 16 or PC Engine, and those are backwards according to their dates. Genesis or Mega Drive, Super Famicom / Super Nintendo, and Neo Geo. Then Gen 5, 3DO, Atari Jaguar, PS1, Sega Saturn, Nintendo 64. And finally Gen 6, Dreamcast, PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. Okay, then we move over into the orange modern, Gen 7, modern. Again, Wii, Xbox 360, PS3, Gen 8, Wii U, PS4, and Xbox One. And then purple here is current. So, as you can see, the Switch is off in no man's land by itself. But from 2017 to the present, and then Gen 9, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series S and X. So, those are the current consoles here. And finally, I'm still working on the further subdivisions, but I mean, prehistoric, perhaps. No, it's not prehistoric because there is some history about it. But Gen 1, I think, would remain vintage here. Then we've got the classic era of Gen 2 and Gen 3, mostly because of the iconic Atari and, of course, the iconic Nintendo Entertainment System. So that is the classic. Then Gen 4 is the console wars. As we all know, Nintendo and Sega went at it. Then I would call it the 3D era, because the N64, Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, all that good stuff was released here. And finally, to close out our retro category, we've got pre-modern, because it's not quite modern, but I think Gen 6 is where you could draw the line between modern and retro. And then I'm thinking about calling, well, with the exception of the Wii here, but Gen 7 starts the HD generation. Gen 8 would continue that, and then the PS5 and Series X would start the 4K generation if we were to go that far. But, yeah, these are how I classify games. And, you know, with a few minor tweaks here and there, I think it's a good system that everyone can use. But, yeah, so again, we've got retro versus modern, with the break at after Gen 6 and the start of Gen 7. Again, vintage, retro, and modern, or not and modern, vintage, retro, modern, and current. And then classic, console wars, 3D, pre-modern, and possibly HD and 4K. So those are just my thoughts on how to classify games and where the divide between retro and modern comes into play. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, or if you think I should have different divisions or what. But yeah, I think it's just useful to know your history and know where your games are coming from and take it from there. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, keep dancing!